Hey, what's up, everybody and everybody? What's up? Welcome back to Fearfully Made, Faithfully Single. If you're listening to us on this New Year's Day, Happy New Year! And we are in a fresh start season. You know how it is. Everybody's new me and new year, all of that kind of stuff. But listen, I want us to pause for just a second. And we're going to talk about something. The episode is not about shame or about regret for what didn't happen last year. And you're definitely not going to be beating yourself up. Today, we're talking about something most of us have experienced, even if we don't always say it out loud. Good intentions, bad choices. Most of us didn't mess up because we wanted to. We meant well. Our hearts were sincere, but the outcome still wasn't what we hoped for. So today, we're going to talk about why that happens and how we can move forward with wisdom, clarity, and hope. Let's get into it. Good intentions and bad choices. Let's start the conversation by talking about what are good intentions. Well, they usually sound like this. I was just trying to help. I thought this would turn out differently. I meant well. And listen, all those things can be true, but intentions live internally. They are our thoughts, our desires, our feelings, our motives, and feelings, while very real, are not reliable leaders. You've let your feelings lead you into some things that were probably not the best for you. Proverbs 14:12 says, "There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end, it leads to death." Now, that's not because the person was reckless, not because they're evil, but because what felt right wasn't actually wise. So let's make this practical. Here are a couple of things. First example, and I know you know this one, the gym. Here's a good intention. I'm going to the gym this year to get healthy. That's a great intention. That's honorable, that's noble, that shows that you're trying to steward your temple. That's great. Here's the bad decision. You have no plan. You don't even know what you're going to do when you get up in the gym. You've not paid attention to any kind of nutrition. You haven't thought about that. And you definitely are not having discipline. You haven't even carved out the time in the day you're going to even go to the gym. You're just saying, I'm motivated and that's going to be enough. Not necessarily so. But we already know because motivation fades. But here's the truth. Motivation will get you in the door, but discipline keeps you consistent. Now, this is not something that we think of just physically, but spiritually too. Here we go. Another good example, spiritual growth. I want to grow closer to God this year. That is beautiful. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Here's the bad decision. You haven't set up any time aside to do it. You have no structure. Are you doing a devotional? Have you joined a Bible study? What are you doing to try to grow closer to the Lord? Are you just waiting to feel inspired instead of being intentional? Spiritual growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens through obedience. James 1:22 reminds us to be doers of the word, not just hearers. Okay? Here's another example in dating. Good intention. I just want to give them a chance. That's great. That means you have not prejudged the person. You are not going off of your past hurts. You're not making any assumptions. You're just going to give the person a chance and give them time and space to show who they are. Good heart. See, again, that's very good. That's a good intention. Here's the bad decision. You're ignoring red flags. Things that are just blatant. They're just, that's not right. You're accepting their inconsistency. They say one thing, but they do something else. And then you make excuses for their behavior that don't align with your values. Discernment is not judgment, it's wisdom. Proverbs 4:23 reminds us to guard our hearts. You can't just hand your heart out unprotected. Here's another one. Friendships. Here's a good intention. I don't want to lose the friendship. Here's the bad decision. They're disrespectful to you and you allow it. They give you all this emotional weight and want you to go through everything with them every time. And so now you're carrying a weight of something that's not yours. They cross boundaries that you have set over and over again, and you don't say anything about it. Here's the truth of that. Peace at the expense of truth is not peace. It's avoidance. Real relationships, real friendships can handle honesty. Ephesians 4:15 tells us to speak the truth in love, not to avoid it for comfort. Now, let's be honest, many bad decisions we made, they didn't happen because we didn't know better. They happened because we were either lonely, or we were frustrated or tired or hopeful, or emotionally invested. I've put too much time in this. We're going to make this work. None of those things make you weak. It makes you human. But when we put emotions in the driver's seat and we put God in the back seat, it's usually going to show up and we're going to end up with a whole bunch of regret. Galatians 5:16 says, walk by the Spirit and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Our feelings don't disappear. We still have them, but we can't let them be in the driver's seat. I am right now, confession, right now I am resisting the urge to communicate with this guy. Okay? I'm fighting it. He is not the one. God has already told me no. But if I let my feelings be the leading of what my actions are going to be, I will make bad decisions. My feelings are saying, hey, you just want some companionship. You're familiar with this guy. He's cool people. A relationship would be good. It's the holiday season. The warm fuzzies are going around. It's cuffing season. All of that's happening. But it would be a bad decision because, number one, God has already told me no. And a lot of regret is going to follow. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. Now I've let this person on. Don't do that. Again, your feelings are not going to disappear, but you can't let them be in the driver's seat. So let's kind of shift for a minute and let's look at intentions versus obedience and what that sounds like, okay? Intentions say, I meant well. Obedience says, I did what God said. And obedience is not always comfortable. It may disappoint some people. It may require you to walk away quietly. But obedience to God protects your future self. Jesus said to John in John chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. Obedience, sis, it is not punishment. It's protection. So as we step into this new year and all of this new season and all of that, let's do a little reflection, not interrogation. We're not beating ourselves up. But in order for us to do things new, we got to think about how do we get here? So ask yourself a couple things. Here we go. Where did I excuse behavior because my heart was in the right place? Where did I make an excuse and my heart was in the right place, but I still excused the decision? Where did I ignore God's nudge because it was simply going to be uncomfortable? What he was telling me to do was going to take me out of my comfort zone. Where did I ignore that? Or where did I rely on or lean into my feelings instead of obeying godly wisdom? Again, this is not to beat us up, but you got to realize and start thinking about why do you do the things that you do? Psalms 139 verse 23 and 24 says, search me, O God, and lead me in the way everlasting. There's an old gospel song called Search Me, Lord. But there's a phrase of the song that says, if you find anything that shouldn't be, take it out and strengthen me. I want to be right. I want to be saved. I want to be whole. God doesn't expose to embarrass. He doesn't show you something to embarrass you and point it out and say, see, you're wrong. You're just terrible. You're wrong. That's not what he does. He reveals it so that he can heal it, so he can help you in that area. So let me encourage us right here. Listen, we're not lost. All hope is not gone. We have not done so much that we are beyond God's reach. We're human. You're not disqualified because you've made mistakes. Girl, I have made so many mistakes, and not just last year, but mistakes my entire life. There are going to be mistakes I'm going to make in the future because I'm human. But here is the great thing that you can embrace with this new year. You're wiser now. You've learned from those things now. You know yourself better now. You're more discerning. You're more aware of who God is and who you are. Proverbs 4, chapter 4 and verse 7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. So this year, the goal is not perfection. You can't do these things. Oh, I've done it great. Then you get to the 10th day, you mess up. Now you want to just scrap everything and just say, oh, it's just terrible. No. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is better choices. Your intentions are great. You already got those straight. That's fine. Our goal now is to make better choices. So say this with me. Here we go. I choose wisdom over being familiar. I choose obedience to God over my comfort. I choose discernment over my feelings or my emotions. Now we're saying those things and that's great. It's not just about saying, we have to do as well. But God is going to help you, sis. He's going to help you. He's going to help me because he's helping me not to make that text message right now. Okay. God is giving us wisdom, grace, and clarity. He's helping us not just to mean well, but to choose well. God is giving us courage to obey, even when it's uncomfortable. And he is walking with us into this new season. All right. If this episode blessed you, share it with someone who's stepping into the new year with hope and maybe a little hesitation because they're pausing. And this year, we're all walking in wisdom. Hey, don't forget to follow Fearfully Made, Faithfully Single on YouTube and Spotify so you don't miss what's going on and what's happening next. Listen, I love you, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.